The race in Cozumel was a pretty incredible experience. There were things that I anticipated and expected to experience, and then there were, of course, with Ironman, there are always the unexpected, and of course it was a brand new experience for me, having never done that kind of distance before. The biggest surprise for me is that really when I look back at it, it didn't, and at the time it didn't actually feel like it was twice as long as a half Ironman. I felt like the time just flew by, except maybe not on the last part of the run. But for sure the swim and the bike just felt like, you know, not excessively, not twice as long as what I'm used to. And it was the course was fantastic. It was a super fast course. I had a lot of confidence in my equipment and the training that I had going into it. And so I had goals for the swim and the bike and the run. And I definitely met those on the swim and the bike. The run, not so much. The heat definitely got to me on the run, and probably also a bit of a lack of fitness there, because I've had to keep my run volume so low and wasn't as well trained as I had hoped to be coming into the race in terms of run component. But yeah, everything was going like seriously on track until a third of the way through the run, and the heat just like, it's a 3-loop run course coming back into the transition area of on the first loop. It was just kind of hot boxed you in there. There was no breeze, and heading back out onto loop number 2, it turned into like a massive slog, and the rest of the run, heading out onto that third loop, realizing that I had like over an hour left to run still, that to me was like, I really had to dig deep in terms of my mental reserves to just like keep putting one foot in front of the other. The post-race and the recovery was like nothing I've ever experienced before. I truly sat in the recovery area. Like, it was super hot out, but I had my emergency blanket because I was freezing cold. Couldn't really talk very well. I was like slurring my speech a little bit, and couldn't eat very well. Was drinking as much as I could, but I remember sitting there and I've told this story a couple of times to different people, sitting there in the recovery area, like with a piece of pizza in my hand, just like staring at this piece of pizza for probably about half an hour, because I was like, what the hell do I do with myself, and just trying to like recover and recuperate. And I was there on my own. I knew that I had to get myself up and out of there and like get my bike and all of my gear and get back to my hotel somehow. And I'm just like, I was actually a little bit scared at some point, like, how the hell am I going to do that? So that, that was definitely a big surprise, was like how kind of wrecked after the race I was. And then a week later, trying to just start some easy training again and realizing like how fatigued I was after all of that. It was a pretty mind-blowing experience. It's been going great so far. I didn't take a whole lot of time off. I mean, things always slow down around the holidays, and my family was in town and I spent a lot of time with them. But really, I took about 2 weeks off of really solid training for recovery after the race, and then went straight back into swim, bike, run. Though I have been doing a bunch of snowshoeing, which has been super cool. We've had a really like solid winter here in Vancouver, and so I've been taking advantage of that. But really, I've spent a ton of time in the pool. I've been working on my swimming a lot, doing a lot of trainer workouts because it's been icy and snowy outside. And just still giving her. But now looking forward, I have Ironman South Africa in 11 weeks. So race season is very close. I have a plan. And that plan, of course, after doing Ironman, now all I want to do is Ironman. It's just like such a new and awesome experience, and I feel like I'm like newly charged to go after this distance and to really nail it. And of course, in our sport, the biggest show in the world is Kona Ironman World Championships. And so this season, that's the goal, is making it to Kona. And so all of my races are really focused around that, around getting the points to get there. So thankfully Cozumel counted towards some of those points that I needed. Heading to South Africa for African Regional Champs at the beginning of April, and then I'll hit St. George, which is North American 70.3 champs, and then Ironman 70.3 in Elsinore, which is the European champs. In there I'll do Challenge Samarin, the Challenge Championship race. And then back home for Ironman Canada, which has been like a dream to race Ironman Canada. And I'm super excited to finally have it on my calendar this year and to hopefully go to Whistler and nail it. I think really just to have some positive Ironman experiences, like to just continue building my fitness and progress. I'd really like to get in a solid year of running. And build up that run fitness back from, I'm still building back from my year off of injury, and so just really try and boost the run fitness. I really came in the later stages of development, and mostly around the nutrition compartment, like components. Diamondback came to me to ask about what I usually carry on the bike for a half distance, for a full distance, and what would be important things that I would look for in a bike or would need in terms of carrying all of the nutrition. And so that was a really awesome process we recognize that from both sides that it was a really good contribution. It's amazing. It's actually amazing. I got the bike only a couple of weeks before Cozumel and got it set up. So I had a couple of rides on it. I had done some of the testing in the wind tunnel a couple of months prior with Diamondback in California, and then done some photo shoot stuff in Kona in California. And so I'd ridden the bike a little bit, but then once I actually got on it and had it set up with my wheels and been just doing some easy rides around the city and some race pace rides, and like I would just go out for a cruise on routes that I had done hundreds of times over the past year, and I was setting PRs on different parts of these rides. Just like it completely blew me away how fast this bike was.